South Dakota at the age of about 7 years. I'd get up in the morning, and if it was during, say, the summer, I would have to milk cows in the morning. We milked 8 or 10 cows, and Mother would milk 6 or 7 of them. Dad would milk a couple, I'd milk 1 or 2. Day would get hot, I'd have some playtime, and we had an old rope swing under a tree, and I'd go over there and play by myself. My mother was one of the finest women in the world. How she put up with my father for so many years, I don't know. I think if she could have figured out a way of living and supporting us kids, she would have left him many years ago. Once my mother died, there wasn't any family structure. She was the one that held everything together. My father was an easygoing guy that liked to drink and play pool. I used to go to sleep on the pool tables at night when he was playing pool. When we'd go to town, we lived about 3-4 miles, 5 miles from town on a farm. And he was a hard worker when he worked. He worked for somebody else for nothing, and let the rest of us take care of the farm while he was all helping somebody else. My dad worked for a warehouse for 6 months. But they wouldn't let him smoke on a job, so he quit. It was just about the end of the season, and I was waiting for the truck, and I was out helping her, and the boss came over and said, "Today's your last day." So I kind of got fired, and I had to go back the next day to pick up my check, and I borrowed my dad's car to go out there, and here was this gal standing under barely under a roof, soaking wet because it was raining to beat the devil, and I asked her if she would like a ride home, and she said yes. So I took her home, and I found out where she lived. So I became a pest. For some reason, when I took the battery of tests that everybody took when you went in, I qualified for the CIC, I qualified for Officers Candidate School, and I didn't have a very good high school education, and some of the guys I was with were in college, you know, and graduated from college. They took a deferment to go to finish college before they came in. And here I was scoring pretty high, so apparently one of my parents was pretty sharp. Mother had a 3rd grade education, my father an 8th grade education. Now, I don't know who it was, but 75% of your intelligence is inherited from your parents. The first job I got, they had to use hack boards because they didn't believe in kicking kids out of school, and they had to keep them in class, and we used hack paddles. Terrible. Hack paddle was a piece of wood about so long with a handle on it, looked like it's a long flat board with a handle on it. Whop, stoop over, grab your ankles and whop them. I didn't like to do that. Women teachers would say, "Mr. Buss, bring your hack board over. I got 4 of them I want you to hack." And they'd line up, grab your ankles, whop, 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 whop. That's no way to run a school. You have a lower class, upper class, middle class, or you have lower, lower, upper, lower, lower, middle, upper, middle, lower, upper, upper, upper. Where do you fit? Everybody wants to say middle class. That's not true. I came from the upper lower. I wasn't a lower lower, I was an upper lower. I had to work my way up, and the only way I could do it, I could marry for money, I could inherit money, I could develop a talent like Elvis Presley, I could go to school and get an education. And like 4 ways you can move up in a society. And I had to go the education route. And I knew it, and I worked for it. I had a tough time. Respect a working man because he has talent. Don't look down on him because his skills are something you may never attain. Anybody can be a college student and come out just dumber than a clutch if they don't have any common sense. I was supposed to be able to see out of that eye in 6 weeks. About 4 weeks, I could see light, and I could, on a bright day, I could see houses and cars, and all of a sudden it went black again, which meant I got more bleeding. But during the process, when I first finished, he said, you'll have to wear gloves, cover your face, wear colored glasses, wear a hat, shoes and socks, long sleeve shirt. He said, if sunlight touches this part of your wrist, for example, even on a cloudy day, it'll destroy the cells in your wrist, the stuff we're putting in your body. And he said you have to stay in a darkened room for 4 days. So I stayed in this room for 4 days. I could come out at night and the lights were okay, normal lighting. But for 4 days I stayed in here and then go out at night to see my wife or whatever. I want to be remembered as a good neighbor, a good father, and a strong disciplinarian that made my kids grow up to be very independent and able to take care of themselves. And to love my wife. I've had her for 53 plus years and I don't want to give her up.